everybody. Hi. We're going to do another session, but this one's going to be really short. Really short. We have our class coming up this, I think it's next Saturday. Next Saturday. Yes, we're going to have a class on Saturday the 22nd. Anybody that wants to join us for that class. And I've got private sessions, personal readings, intuitive sessions. I have packages of 4 vocational coaching sessions. So thank you for those of you that have bought them and have been working with me on an ongoing basis. I so love you, and I can't wait to hear how it's going for you and how you're directing and aligning yourself in our 5D grids. I'm so excited. We've got lots of great things that we're exploring this year, and we're taking ourselves out of the 3D programs that we've all been stuck within, clearing our karma and clearing all of the energies that require our acceptance and our loving forgiveness and our loving integration into our now moment, our now reality. And as you're moving through every, this will be more like a mini realignment with the spirit within, alignment with the soul within, and understanding how important it is that you align with your own spirit within, to be guided by your own spirit within. My teams wanted me to bring forward again another personal story for myself, and know that everybody has similar experiences that they're moving through. And thank you for sharing your stories in our comments of our videos, because it helps let yourself know that you can express yourself in a safe community and that you do have help and support. So I read all your comments, and I'm thankful for all of you that join us over the years and in our sessions and our classes for mastery. Well, all of us are each responsible for taking this incredible experience of every moment of living with spirit as spirit. And that's what our topic is today, that they wanted me to talk about, is what is our understanding of spirit? And we've kind of had it, because it's been so physical and because we've been healing from the idea of separation, we've held spirit very separate from us, and it really can't be. Everything that is in existence is spirit. It's the essence of energy that is in movement, that is the physics and the science of spirit, God. We've never really considered ourselves aspects of God, a co-creator, functional experience of God, a vessel of God. Everything that we are is matter, is spirit. The matter part of us is spirit. Breath is spirit, water is spirit, everything that is, anything that is physical is spirit first, made manifest. So what you make manifest is based on your vibration. It's based on the vibrational vessel that you are, the vibrational thoughts and beliefs and patterns that you hold as who you are. And understanding that your ability to transform and transmute and create from the spirit that you are helps you manifest the higher and higher alignment and assimilation and harmonization of higher vibrational realities. So in essence, the more that we transcend and shift our perspective of everything being spirit, which it is, they're just vibrational variations of matter. So the more refined you are as spirit, the more refined you are as thinking and behaving as spirit in the alignment of the universal laws, then the more refined realities that you're able to create. Instead of thinking that the physical reality is so separate from spirit reality, it's not. It's all one. It can never be separate. There's just varying gradations of spirit. The higher vibrational bandwidths that you soak within will determine the refinement of your vessel and the refinement of the matter that you create, the matter that you see, the matter that is becoming less and less matter, less and less dense, and becoming more and more spirit. So it's really about each and every person taking all of their consciousness back within, from whence we kept putting it outside of ourselves. The outer focus really tears you apart and creates that disassociation. Disassociation is when you're separating yourself from what is truth. And truth is vibrationally in all different realities based on your consciousness awareness. So the more that you're claiming all that you are as spirit, living as spirit, releasing anything that you put outside of you and the attention you pay to outside of you, and each of us do this, we all do this, because we're aching for that connection, we're aching for that communion. Now that we're reawakening ourselves to the highest level of spirit, we're finding less and less people on our path with us, because so many people are having to clear out their karma, having to clear out their stuff. People are losing their jobs, people are sick and ill. We're going through a huge transitional period. So that connection and communion is really lacking in all of our lives. But this virus has taught us that very thing, that we're meant to go back within and commune first with ourselves, to reestablish that link of spirit within us. Your breath is spiritual. All that you are in all dimensions is spiritual. Everything, and we say spirit as the essence of Metatronic light that's always moving in harmony with this, with the song that spirit is. Everything is the harmonic song of God. Everything. Just at various, did it teach through free will how much light you're willing to take on and integrate and process, how much density you're letting go, and releasing limiting beliefs, and creating that oneness and integration of everything that you see. Everything that you're co-creating is an integration process. Whether you may want to judge it as something that's not yours, or judge it as something that is of somebody else's, it's all an integration based on parts of your wholeness that need to be accepted and honored. And then in your reflection with spirit, saying, what part of this am I ready to act on? What part of this am I ready to see in a different way? What part of this am I ready to integrate in a different way? So that you're constantly maneuvering and pivoting around whatever it is in your front moment. And then you get to choose whether you want to dance or entangle with it or not, because you still have free will. But all in essence is energy. And there are many, many energies right now as we're shifting dimensions, and all of us are releasing a lot of shadow energy and working with the shadow and understanding the shadow and why the shadow is even with us. The shadow is with us for all the eons that we've created through matter. And we've had those separative beliefs. We've had that disassociation. So the 3D realm is about seeing all of the energies that you've created through separative beliefs, through the judgment beliefs, through the illness of self beliefs. And those beliefs come from the lineage, your Akash, what you're here to heal for your ancestors and all the timelines you've been through, earth lineages, as well as what you have created in this lifetime, which is usually from your familial, society, personal attributes and spiritual intentions that you set for yourself, any explorations that you do and set for yourself. All that you are as a being, you have access to. The blame of what you've created is unto no one but yourself, because you're the one that is living your life and choosing your choices. So it's up to you to know that and own that great responsibility to say, wow, I've created everything, so how can I create something really great? And do it from that essence where it's no longer that ego wanting and getting, but you're actually doing it from that refined, expressive, exploratory experience where you're allowing all of creation just to be this beautiful, fluid movement of love and light and love and light, and you choose from this balanced space. And then in the morning, create that daily self-care time so that you're clearing out those energies and you're clearing out that shadow and working with the shadow. Work with it as a oneness, as an experience of oneness, so that you're constantly transmuting. The shadow never goes anywhere. You're only bringing love and light to all that was misunderstood, all that was not accepted, all that was left out in its belief systems of where you had to put your value of who you are and your importance of who you are. So now you get to reclaim all those parts of you. You get to reclaim them by everything that you're pulling in as a manifestation, because it wants you to look at it. That's why you manifest in the physical, because it wants you to look at it, and it is you. So what is facing you? Bring it to the forefront and just sort it out. Why did I manifest this? Why would I want to manifest this? Why did I create this? What belief do I have about me? Because it's always about you. It's not about anybody else. It's always about you. Did I create this for a belief of lack of self? Lack of that I wasn't important, I couldn't do this by myself? You know, whether it's codependency, whether it's an addiction, whatever it might be that you're going through. It might be jealousy, it might be envy, it might be competition, it might be devaluing yourself in front of others, or whatever it might be, people pleasing. I mean, they come in all different ways of separation. And it's just returning everything back to self, claiming all parts of you, and clearing out any densities from your chakras, bathing yourself in light so that you're constantly refining yourself by light. If you're constantly refining yourself by light, then you're allowing yourself the best chance to move about and navigate life when distractive energies come to pull you off course, because they're meant to. Your teams will, and your higher self and source and spirit will always assign a certain level of distractions so that you're absolutely staying on path for what is your highest and your best. And you're not going to be pulled back down into vibrations of addiction and vibrations of codependence and vibrations of whatever it is you've left. And you're maintaining that path of greatness and oneness for yourself and setting the example for others, because you are that threaded pearl. As you reach up and create higher and claim higher energies, so too will those that are coming behind you, if you will. And it doesn't mean anything about quantitative when we say that behind. We're just saying that your light affects everything else. And it's really a challenge when we're getting into these cycles of things seem to not be changing, because it is still a physical reality and things might not be changing yet, but you have to keep up that momentum. Every time you reach a new level, that momentum to keep building higher and higher, you need to jump higher and create that new momentum, which means creating new higher vibrational cycles. of new patterning that feels good and feeds your body, feeds your emotions, feeds your spirit. And that spirit is all that you are within. Spirit's all that you are without. Spirit is all things facing you is spirit. It's just different levels of spirit, different material densities of spirit. But that's all based on what you're able to create through the high resolution and um, oscillations that spirit and light create. The more light you have in your body, the higher you oscillate, and you're able to capsulate more, and you're able to integrate more, and you're able to process the information within that light and then transmute it and translate it in different ways. And so they were asking, what is your idea of spirit, and how can you integrate that in more and more of your life? Everything in all moments is spirit. We are more spirit than anything else. Our bodies could not survive without spirit. So when you're nourishing your body, nourish it with spirit. Nourish it with things that feel good. There are those that are so high vibrational. They've come with so many great gifts, but they don't yet know the gifts that they carry. And they sometimes end up getting lost in addictions or we've labeled so many things as OT, what is it? Autistic. And we're not saying that everybody that's labeled autistic or diagnosed as autistic is not autistic or autistic. We're just saying that there's variations of high vibrational capabilities that are not understood, and they're being labeled and patterned under 3D observation, as opposed to looking at every vibrational being as being different and unique and empathic and telepathic and psychic. So how one uses the vessel within itself and going within and saying, Spirit, how can I amplify my gifts and use my gifts so I'm using it in the greater good? And those people that don't understand who they are, that don't understand energy, that know that they come with big energy but are not using it in the right ways, can create for themselves much karma to work through, because they end up using their energies in, if they're not being taught to return within to center and use their energies benevolently, and especially if they've been patterned through social conditioning of 3D egocentric, and they're getting all things all the time, and the getting and the getting and the getting, that just feeds the infinite vessel of ego that never gets filled. And then it creates other things like drama and chaos and conflict that they've got to keep feeding, because that's the energy it wants to keep psyching. It's just like a cycle of mess. Instead of using your energy that's benevolent and kind and centered and balanced, and you wouldn't have to create all that stuff. So it's really important to know that where your vibration's at. If you know that you have a lot of energy and you can process a lot of energy, then do so in a benevolent way. Start working with your vessel and clearing out the density. Start clearing out the energies that through choice of ego has created a bunch of mess and conflict, because you had so much energy, but you were using it in a lower vibrational way because of the beliefs that you held about yourself, and putting your power outwards, or addictions, or getting, or doing, instead of returning all of that energy to you and feeding all that big energy back to you and healing yourself. And so many of us are psychics and empaths, and have gone through many years, even as we were children, not really being taught how to direct our energy. And that's going to be a big thing for 2022, is healing of the personal and the familial wounding, through karma, all the things that have been created through karma and through personal selfish choices. And we all do them. It's just a matter of what level, and do you keep doing them? And that's when you're not learning the lessons, right? And really returning to center, knowing that now that you're a family of one, because that's the whole lesson about Ascension, is honoring that you're one and your choices affect everybody. And it depends on what beliefs and what psychoses and what energies of wounding and karma you're working with will determine what beliefs you want to pull out forward and say, okay, what are my biggest beliefs that are choosing? I'm choosing these experiences because of these and these and these beliefs. Let's work on those, and really sorting out your healing plan so that you're benefiting from it. Because going forward in a infinite galaxy of oneness, if you're not grounding and honoring your vessel and your light, you can be pulled in an infinite number of directions and just get distracted and just start going off in all these tangents, and not that's when your energy feels really erratic, because you're not consciously pulling in all of your energy. You're not consciously pulling in all of your attention and directing your energy back within. The more you direct your energy out, the more chaos that is experienced, and your energy feels and looks erratic. And you're not really using your energy to its highest and its best. because you're getting distracted in all these outer energies, and you really need to call all your energy back and start maintaining and creating a benevolent experience so that your body and your vessel is being honored, and you're really manifesting through the highest potential of a balanced and clear and gentle space. And that's the divine feminine, is knowing how to create that with the divine feminine manifestation skills, but healing all of the wounds in between as they come up, and honoring it, because your shadow is showing you the benevolence and how to manifest from that balanced experience of male and female balance. You have to be balanced without distortions on either side. But the wounding and your daily shadow work helps you understand, where's my shadow work showing me? Is it the male that is being not used properly, not being honored, not being benevolently loved? Is it the divine feminine that's not being benevolently loved and honored? For there should be, in the process of ascension every day, am I allowing and being freely allowing of others? Am I accepting and loving others in acceptance of myself? Am I expressing myself in acceptance? Am I expressing myself in kindness? And am I allowing others in kindness? And so those are questions just to keep in the forefront, so that you're honoring yourself in a balanced and centered way. And when you do your manifestation, you know that you're manifesting from the most clear point of potential that spirit is. Spirit is all things, but you want to match spirit on the highest level. And that's what moving through your ascension is all about. And many of us that are empaths and psychics, we're going through so much of our time knowing how to navigate energy, because you're working in, a universe. We're opening up to 5D now, and you have access to so many different energies. So to have a practice, everything is spiritual, everything is energy. So have a spiritual, energetic practice, so that in the morning you're starting with affirmations, you're starting with the knowingness and the direction of your body, the direction and the knowingness of your energy, and the intention of your energies and your bodies. And you're intending it to be grounded fully with your sacred trinity, with Gaia and your teams, so that you know that you're a vessel walking within the protection of the vessel of your oneness and wholeness, and you're following universal law. So set out your intentions to be spirit, to walk with spirit. In that is, again, as we talked about more recently, is the alliance of your light. You always have access. Everybody has access, regardless of what it seems like how they're behaving outer, because their outer behavior is only because their inner beliefs have been skewed and warped. So returning everything to inner, as we said in one of our videos, most of our social conditioning, most of our social crimes, most of our social imbalances, most of our social injustices can be resolved by returning all of our focus and all of our energies and intentions back within. Our illness would be healed, the crimes would be healed, disassociation, mental illnesses most of it would be resolved. So much could be resolved through the inner practice of inner light and inner spirit. Healing so much karma, healing so many wounds that just make you want to keep making, distractions and the outer getting, which doesn't mean or last. It doesn't. It's very short-lived, because it's not. It's an experience of spirit, but to live and to be focused and directed as spirit, that's when you're entering 5D. That's when you know you're ascending. When every moment you absolutely are seeing and evolving as spirit. And setting that intention. Today I choose to speak as spirit. Today I choose to live as spirit. Today I choose to see everyone as spirit and everything as spirit, and how it's affecting me, and what choices I can make to create that alignment of my vocation with offerings and service with creation. And knowing that when you do, you'll always have return. It'll always be infinite return, because you're using and being a spirit. And if you are a vessel that carries great light, you'll have those symptomologies, and they're very easy to sense and to know how you're using your energy. And are you benevolently using your gifts, benevolently using the laws of the universe, the law of one, benevolently using how you use energy and how you direct energy, being loving and kind and good to all and the greater good of all, honoring the boundaries that are set by others, and honoring the boundaries of yourself, and you setting your boundaries so that you're safe in your boundaries and you're giving others the example of boundaries. And knowing that your boundaries are because you love yourself, and you're honoring that spirit that is within, because your spirit needs you back, right? Your spirit and that inner child that you've been helping heal, and you've been helping clear, and you've been helping honor, it needs your back. It needs to know that you're going to stand up for you, the inner child. You're going to stand up and make sure that when you're clearing a shadow, that you're going to equally match it with a beautiful sense of light and a belonging with your spirit. And your spirit wants to know that you can direct it in positive and loving and benevolent ways, so that you return it. You get it returned in kind. And people want to bring that to you. People want to bring that kindness to you. So be okay with working with the shadow. The shadow shows you how great your light is. The shadow shows you the wounding that you have to love yourself that only you can give you. Nobody is responsible for giving you your light. Nobody's responsible for fixing your problems. Nobody's responsible for giving you the potentials that you need. Nobody's responsible for making you happy. It's all an inner experience. And that's what we have been missing for eons. We've been directing everything outer, and now it's coming back within. And so really honor it. It's a beautiful experience. And allow yourself to ponder throughout your day when you're manifesting. What does your understanding of spirit mean? Does your spirit mean that you've got to call it inside of you? Does your spirit, when you think about spirit, does it mean that I've got to connect and meditate and think that I'm connecting with spirit way above? Spirit is everything. Spirit is always with us. There's always spirits and there's always energies in your space. Are you devoting, and also your body, right? In micro, macro, inner, outer. The more that you're getting comfortable with working with spirit in all moments, and benevolent spirits, what you're calling in, how your vibration, what your core vibration is with the spirit energies you're working with. So if you're in a really angry vibration, then you're calling in angry energies and entities. If you're devaluing your body in any way, you're calling in those energies that also want to work with those energies. So everything is vibrational. How you speak of yourself, how you honor yourself, and showing that vibration and that core vibration to your children as well. And everything in our universe is vibrational. It is. It can't not be. Everything is spirit. Everything is spirit. It's just dependent on what belief systems that you have about the spirit that you are and how you're directing and intending your energy. That will be the reality that you experience. So if you're assimilating greater light, you're going to call in those greater light beings to be with you. You're going to call in those greater light experiences to manifest with you and create from a beautiful experience. And know that there's always a level of grace that's given because we're all practicing how to be spirit. There's always a level of grace, a grace period for us to learn and create new we want to get rid of habits and patterns and new ways of becoming 5D. So that we're spending more of that internal time, if you will, that's matching the outer, meaning that what nourishes you from within, the physical, mental, emotional, etheric, and it's usually meant with our greatest experience through the nature. So the more that we're harmonizing with nature, the more that we're one with nature and communing with loving experience of life, animals, wildlife, and other humans at those vibrational levels, then you're creating a harmonious community of light. And so this is why it's really important that how you vibrate within is going to really need to be reflected and refined, because you want your light to be nourished. You want to be nourished just as you're gaining light, as you're refining your light, to also create a community and outer experience of light. So there will be always those testing moments of pulling away from what was and creating something new, and learning of when to put on those boundaries and experiences and set those vibrations and set your intention to communicate and how you're investing your time so that people know, have clear communication, so that you can navigate all variations of vibration, because everyone's going to be at different paces and different settlements of light. And that's perfect and fine. And people are going to move about when they're ready to move out, and they're going to come here and go there and explore, and that's meant to be. But there needs to be clear communications on what each boundaries are and what each need in that community. I mean, that's why that open communication, to be the bridge builders of everyone in between, that everyone has equal access to light. Everyone is meant to create their own light. Everyone's meant to clear their own karma, and everyone is meant to be the highest version of themselves, for themselves, of themselves. Everything is spirit. There is not one person that's meant to do it for all. There's not one person that's meant to be the bearer of all the karma and clear it all for everybody else. Everyone is responsible for their own light. Everyone's responsible for their own karma. Everyone's responsible for going within and seeking their own wisdoms for their own truth and their own path with spirit. Spirit has a direct destiny for you, and your gifts and your skills are meant to be honored and explored and expressed and really loved, because spirit is always with you. Always have that alliance with light, always. Now, what you're intending and how you're intending it, how you use your body, how you use your light, how you use energy, that's up to you. It's always free will. But just know that how it's intended, nothing escapes spirit. Even if you think that you're, I remember my teens when I was really accelerating in my gifts. They would always bring me these experiences to say that you have this potential to do this, this, or this. Let's say to, to create you can create an intention to gain information over another for your own benefit, let's say, or you have opportunity to um, to sway someone, you have the opportunity to do that, or because of your skills and your gifts with energy and how you use energy. And so, and you have the intention to, psychically read on someone, you know, things like that. And so you're always given these opportunities. So Spirit's showing you that the various number of ways to honor energy and to be reverent and humble within it. And there's those that are given those experiences, but they're not taught and told how to benevolently use their gifts in their vessel, how to honor their vessel as light and spirit, and to honor it. Um, because anything that you do with intention, the intention of honoring you first and valuing you first and standing up for yourself, because Spirit will always give you those opportunities to value yourself and value others. If you value yourself, you'll value others. If you do things in good right for you, you'll do things in good right for others. And so there's always going to be those tests. And you have a certain amount of grace period for each of those tests, depending on what those choices are. But Spirit will always be testing you so that you're constantly growing in your benevolence, to use energy of the highest in benevolence, so that you're not using energy and information over others to get your own agenda met, or to slide one in, or to do anything that is anything other than serving of goodwill. And so luckily I've been having, such great success and honor with my teams, because my intention was always just to be free and loving, and to use my gifts for humanity and the greatest good. But we're always given those tests at every new phase of level of co-creation, because Spirit will want to know that you're benevolently using and being the vessel of love of who you are, because there will be others that will rely on that. And you'd want to have yourself in the highest order to say, I've been through all the tests. I'm using my energy in the highest will. And you've practiced using it in goodwill, so that you're not using information out of order. You're not using information to hinder others. You're not using information or energy to thwart others or to block others, but you're using it in the highest and greatest good. And Spirit will ensure that if you're constantly doing something because you want to have those ego accesses, and because it feels powerful and controlling, then Spirit will ensure that there will be no more gifts that will be offered, because you're not using that energy in a benevolent way. And so that's when some will feel blocked, and they will have no access to certain things. And Spirit has, as I said, Spirit always has the upper hand, because you're meant to learn. You're meant to learn the lessons, and that's how learning the lessons comes. And sometimes the lessons are hard lessons, hard lessons. To trust yourself over others, trust your own light, trust your own. When you get those red flags, trust them, and move in a direction that's safe and loving for you. But always know, no matter how hard things might seem, Spirit is always with you, again, because you have infinite alliance with light. And that light is meant to be used in benevolence, the law of one. And so they were wanting me just to share some of my experiences, because being such an empath and growing up in such dysfunction, it was always really hard to be in this experience of such great empathy and such great capacity to care and to use energy in different ways. And the biggest frustration that was hard for me is to really learn and set boundaries were so important, and to have every child understand energy, and have every child understand how to clear their fields and use energy protection, and have them get used to loving themselves as loving light, and bring in loving light force with them and everywhere they walk, just to have that fun with being with Spirit. You don't have to walk around feeling like you have to be protected all the time, because you don't. When you're standing in your light, you're standing in loving full radiance of yourself, you're not going to attract any of those energies. But as you're moving through transition, it's really important to set boundaries. Boundaries are so important. And those boundaries can be set vibrationally, physically, mentally, and emotionally, spiritually. And they can be set in dream time, etheric time. And you can have your teams also help you set different veils of protection throughout your day, so that you're not being hindered, especially if you're someone that's in the public. If you're being hindered and exhausted and drained all the time, if you're feeling like you're constantly being poked and prodded, mentally, if there is any type of a connection that you have and others are not honoring those connections as sacred, wanting to take on your light and take on your energy and pull at you constantly, when you've said your direct boundaries have said stop and don't do that, and you've set those boundaries and you've set those intentions, and they're not being honored, then you can have your team step in and put those veils and those scrambling, scrambling if someone's getting a reading on you all the time, those pull at your energy field. A spell work and things like that, those pull on your energy field and affect you. So it's really important to work with your teams and get to know and really tune into the distracting energies that keep pulling at you, wanting you return to those ego programs and those mind viruses, that are just patterns of, staying in the conflict. So you can have your teams to help you, assist you in severing the cords to those experiences so that you can maintain your healthy growth. Because everybody that you're connected with is relying on you to continue growing in your light. Most are just stuck within the programs of not knowing how to move out of it. But you moving forward will show them how to move out of it, that there are different ways. And returning all of your consciousness to center, start feeding yourself from center, setting up healthy boundaries, and start honoring and nourishing yourself as light and spirit, because spirit is everything. And so if you're manifesting from that ego experience of wounding, you're going to manifest that wounding. So healing yourself, that daily self-care, facing the shadow, knowing that you can get through it with your alliance with light. You always have light with you, always. It's just a matter of, are you calling on it? Are you working with it? Or does the ego inner child wounding want you to create more messes and conflicts because it wants that attention, it wants that energy, in any way that it wants it, whether it's through money, resources, vibration, attention, whatever it is. That's just ego, the wounded child. So it's got to be healed. Those energies have to be healed. But you can sever the cords and separate yourself so that you can continue growing, because that's what's really needed, and not compromising any part of your multidimensional experience. And so to really understand spirit is all things, everything. Are you assimilating the understanding that everything is spirit? How can I manifest great things with spirit for the greater good? Sending out intentions of divine order for all, and the goodness of my heart for all, helps setting that intention for the platform for all to understand that they are of divine order. And spirit is responsible for placing the lessons, for placing the energies, for placing the gifts, for placing the intuitions, for placing everything before everybody. That's spirit's job. But you're just wishing divine order and greater good in the grace of God. One thing that we don't understand about spirit, again, spirit being everything and all, you are a vessel of spirit. You are the intention. Spirit knows your destiny. Spirit knows your calling. Your soul and your higher self are constantly guiding you. Anything that is needed for you, anything that is meant for you, it's already in the field. It's already in the experience. And spirit is, spirit knows the intentions before the intentions become intentions, because that's a core vibration. If you're intending something from a vibration of jealousy or envy, even though you say in words you're not, that vibration is known, because it's a core vibration. You have not healed that. And so all those energies and intentions and words and doings and choices are vibrational. They can be felt and seen and known through the intention of the core creation of it. So that's why your healing is so important. That's why the shadow work is so important, because it purifies and it rarefies your intention, and spirit knows where things are and when you're ready to receive, and when someone needs a more lesson, when you need a lesson, when you need a test. And we say test because it just expands your spiritual growth. It doesn't say that you're not good enough for it, but spirit wants to make sure that your soul is growing from all those lessons. Are you going to return to the karmic cycle? Are you going to return to the envy? Are you going to return to overeating? All of those things that make us feel like we don't fit, we're not enough. So it's about growing with that self-worthiness. It's about growing with that self-love and honoring ourselves as spirit, because all things are spirit. And then setting those healthy boundaries so that any of those energies that have, taken over, many of us, some of the energies that are not healthy, especially when you're coming out of karmic relationships and relationships that have been very challenging and oftentimes destructive. They're really about us learning more about who we are as spirit, integrating the shadow parts of us and why we attracted those manifestations, taking ownership of your part in it, and then learning to understand, how to create that greater alignment, and really just shift your directional focus for the distractive energies, because they're only going to continue distraction when you're continuing feeding it. So the less you feed it, the less it will be available to connect with you, because again, it's all vibration. There won't be that vibrational match. But you do have to remember there is that space of co-creation. So as you're shifting all of these transitions, and because everybody's shifting, because everybody's at different vibrational consciousness levels, when you're starting to love yourself and honor yourself, you're going to want that environment around you as well, because that environment wants to nourish itself in light. So setting those healthy boundaries, making sure you're communicating what's right for you and what is that healthy exchange for you on all multidimensional levels, and our outer reality will become this as well. We're starting to communicate that we're now an awakening collective. We want to start exploring first contact. We want to start exploring higher vibrational health experiences for our collective, for our children. We want to start experiencing higher vibrational learning and growth. All these things that we're communicating in this field, they're already there. Spirit already knows. But it's up to us to be in that place of receptivity, which is the divine feminine, to know that we're setting safe boundaries so that we have that room to receive, and really working with Spirit, the alliance that you have with Spirit, to make sure that blocks are being cleared, veils are being removed when you're ready to receive new gifts and new skills, and you're really putting a stop to all energies that are pulling on you in a negative way. And those energies are just how to deal with and how to navigate disruptive, distractive, conflicting, chaotic energies. And they're everywhere. You know, as we said, the more that you return within and knowing how your energy needs to be used and directed, then you can start directing and creating a healthy life for yourself. If you know that you have a big vessel and you can create a lot of energy and be with a lot of energy, knowing how to direct it will manifest great things. If you're using it in an egoic way, then you're going to be manifesting, the result. And there are universal laws for, a reason, because that's how life is manifested and created. And because Earth has been so imbalanced for so very long, there's been many of the hierarchies that have been with us since 1987 to assist in the acceleration for humanity's evolution, because there's been so much darkness and density because of the fear and control programs. But really releasing all of them, because they're just illusions. They're viruses. They're viruses of the mind, mental body. And we're now clearing it, and we want to be free and loving of ourselves. But you have absolutely birthright. So again, Spirit will support you, because Spirit's everything. If your intention is to have a healthy, happy, balanced home, and that everybody be nourished and resolved within it, then those gifts will be blessed, because Spirit's working with you equally. But you also have the absolute right to ask for that help when you're trying to release yourself from karmic cycles, and you need that extra vibrational help, knowing that nobody and no thing has authority over you. Nobody and no thing has entitlement over you. Nobody and no thing has directive over you. You can't direct your path for you. They can't choose for you. They can't speak on your behalf. Nobody speaks for you. Nobody directs your path. Nobody drives your path. Your path is your path. And owning your consciousness, owning the power of your light, owning the power of your energy, and ensuring that you're working with Spirit to completely and absolutely know all aspects of your fields and your light and your consciousness, so that you absolutely know when to disengage and detangle and just redirect your energy away from those distractions. And that means anything outer that's pulling on you is doing so because there's that inner redirection that you're meant to go within and say, no, this is my reality, and I'm going to create this. So really allow yourself that greater connection of understanding Spirit is all things. Are you anchored, and are you centered in who you are? Are you making sure the boundaries are set so that you're manifesting greatness for you? Are you honoring your body and blessing your body in equal manner? Are you allowing yourself happiness and joy, and working on that happiness and joy, and not feeling responsible for others' happiness? Because you're not. You're responsible for your happiness. And doing your best and your highest will allow all others to be theirs and do theirs. Show others by the example. And just allow others to work through what they got to work through. And so, yes, what's the understanding of Spirit? Spirit is everything. Spirit is breath. So when you intend Spirit to come into your life in all ways, to help manifest love and benevolence in all ways, to help manifest abundance in all ways, ask and be the alliance with that as light. Because that will help you in manifesting the healthy body, the new direction, the new portals, the new opening. Everything is Spirit. And we're seeing it more and more and more, because the density is now moving away. You're able to create higher vibrational realities the more that you tune within. So if all of your energy is going outer, and you're focusing on other people, you're focusing on out, everything is out, then you're creating those lower vibrational realities. You create a higher vibrational reality by calling all of your energies within, because Spirit is directing you to the highest and the best, and you're becoming one with Spirit. It's not, Spirit is not outside of you to go and find, right? That's our understanding with Spirit. It's shifting. We're creating this beautiful high vibrational reality. Spirit is with you in all moments, and Spirit cannot be separate from you. It's impossible. Spirit is always, always with us. and are now loving and honoring and blessing ourselves with spirit and how to understand the destructive energies. They're just they're just not knowing and understanding where they are and who they are, and it's up to them to go in and seek that. But you don't have to constantly be pulled on it, and you can call in your teams and your angels to create spatial distancing veils and protections when you're finding yourself overly impeding, impeding your process and your progress. You're not meant to sacrifice your light or your path for anyone or anything, because your light is needed to progress humanity as a collective. And we are progressing as a collective. But our collective one hearts that are saying, we want greater health, we want greater abundance, we're going to start manifesting those experiences. So affirm it. We are creating greater health experiences. We're creating greater oneness. We're creating the respect and honor for all spirit. We're creating the greater respect and honor that everybody be held sacred and everybody have the allowance of their exploration and path and the expression of who they are as spirit. We want that for our children. We want them to feel totally expressive and loving in who they are. You receive higher wisdoms from spirit within. You receive higher love from spirit within. You receive higher intelligence from spirit within. You harmonize within yourself from within. All greatness comes from within. Cannot be found out. Nobody can get it for you. Nobody can do it for you. It's always within you and spirit. And spirit inspires life. Spirit inspires all things that are made manifest, because it is. All things made manifest are actually spirit. They're just a variation of density based on where you are creating from. And so just know that. And also know that spirit is the purveyor of all things meant in the highest and the greatest good. And spirit knows that. Spirit's all things. You can't get one over on spirit. Again, it's all about your intention. If you're having your manifestation periods, and we've talked about this before, and that's just your maturity, your spiritual maturity and your emotional maturity. Have you healed the wounds that ego thinks it wants? Because ego is not your driver. Spirit will want you to have those soulful lessons because you're meant to be on a grander soul path. You're meant to have the deeper soul rich lessons. And spiritual maturity is just understanding and working it out and being okay and being patient and tolerant and benevolent, because you have to learn those lessons. That's spiritual mastery. You're not going to always get what you want, and you're not going to always get it in the way that you want it. Spirit will deliver it in the way that it's meant to be. And those are the lessons of spirit. And that's just surrendering to the path. Using energy and using the love of who you are, the vessel of who you are, all that is spirit, to use it with reverence and humility. And if it's not being used with reverence and humility, then spirit will humble you. Absolutely. As Archangel Michael said, everyone must learn to take a knee and to use energy with reverence. And when it's not being used with reverence, and the continuation of energy being thwarted or manipulated in any way, the constant taxing on other people's systems and bodies for energy, the distractions or the botherings when the boundaries have been set, then that's when you ask spirit to step in and resolve that, because you're needed to keep going on your path. So just know that spirit knows what's going on in all levels and all ways, but you have to ask for it. You have to ask for that benevolent help to say, I've done everything I can, spirit. I need your divine intervention here, and this needs to be resolved. Because you've done everything in your power as the human experience that you have, in a loving and benevolent way, to help and assist, remove blocks, remove entities, remove illusions, remove distractive energies that are impeding your process and impeding your ability to connect with the highest light. No one has the right to impede your process to connect with the highest light. Nobody does. No group does. No group has the right to claim a whole collective of children to use in any way. Nobody does. Nobody has the right over anybody. Nobody does. Cannot be bought or sold. You cannot be impeded by anybody because of a private agenda to have you for their light or their distraction, their tool, their toy. We have to grow up. It's about spiritual maturity, evolving beyond ego toys, and honoring everything as spirit, knowing that all things are good in between and they're all right and they're all true. But when you're maturing as spirit, it's about maturing into that level of dysfunction and really healing those wounds and creating from a place that you understand energy and you're using it in the highest benevolent way. And as you do, you're helping be a master and a teacher for others and a mentor for others to use energy with reverence and benevolence. And you will always receive it in kind. Um, and to know that when you're opening in your psychic gifts, you will be tested. Your teams will constantly want to test you. And we say that as the soul's growth test, because your soul is testing you. Are you using energy benevolently? Are you using your affirmations benevolently? Are you reclaiming your power? Because that's also means for you as well. Are you honoring your tools and your gifts to share with others? Are you practicing your tools and gifts to share with others? Because Spirit has given you these gifts to use. And so, there are you don't want to hold yourself back because you're not honoring your gifts, because you're being too distracted by the outer energies that are keep pulling on you and distracting you. So that's when focusing yourself and focusing on your path is of the highest and the best. And oftentimes that means releasing what is distracting you, and then having the heavens step in to assist you in refining those energies and clearing those energies away. And through the highest and through the best, Spirit will always have the final the final say, because Spirit is Spirit. There's always a divine plan, right? And so it's just up to us to understand what is our understanding of Spirit. Spirit A is all things Spirit. Whether it seems physical or matter based, it's all Spirit. We create through Spirit as Spirit. Our body is Spirit, our cells are Spirit, our blood is Spirit. How is our alliance with Spirit being moved and created with? Are we doing daily self-care so we're absolutely respecting and honoring Spirit? Are we allowing the shadow to be a part as one with Spirit, because it is? To honoring the absolute value of all things in between, because it is? To know that you have absolute right, and to start standing in your own sovereign power, to claim your right to health, to claim your right to beauty, to claim your right to be a 5D creator of joy and benevolence and happiness, and assimilate those higher packets of light, and to call Spirit in when you need special protection and honoring of your body, that you can have certain things scrambled on your behalf if there are others trying to interfere and get their way in on your energy field. Just because they can remote view doesn't mean they should. And use those protection tools and have Archangel Michael work with you, because nobody has the access to you that they think they do without your permission and without the right use of will, boundaries, and respect are always. And that is when, again, spiritual maturity comes in, because it's usually ego and selfishness that wants to gain access and to gain information and to withhold information and all the things that are done, but call judgment on it and say, I'm not playing those games anymore, and I have the right to have a safe, healthy body and not to be distracted every moment of my day. Because you do. You're a sovereign being. You're meant to be living in your sovereign power. Set those boundaries so energies know how and when to come to you if they want your help, if they want your light. Then there's certain energies and ways that they can approach you. And because you'll have to know, because there'll be lots of beings you'll be opening up to. And so they'll know absolutely, I'm going to connect with the beings from the astral realm from this time to that time, and give yourself those boundaries and those times to work with Spirit, because you don't want to be taking on all these energies when you're just waking up and getting exhausted, because all of these energies feel like you're bombarded. Clear out your field, be centered, stand firm in your pillar of light. Affirm daily that you work and you stand with God, and all energies not working with God and all energies not working with Spirit. Of course, all energies are working with God because it's all God, but that are not in benevolent service of light. Then you can have those energies leave and have Archangel Michael help you clear those energies. Because otherwise you're getting bombarded with all types of energies depending on where your vibration is at, and you don't have to take all that on. It's not yours to carry. Just ask them to leave. Some of the energies that you can't open up to are very playful, distractive energies from the astral realm, and they don't mean harm most of the time, but they are distractive. So just get to know those energies. But again, it's about you'll always be tested, and just send all those energies back to Spirit. Send all those energies back to Spirit, and set your boundaries. My vibrational boundary is to connect with the councils of light. My vibrational boundaries are to connect with the fairies and the gnomes, and then send all of those other energies away and have the angels help you. Please send all distractive energies out of my field, please, because your field is going to expand. Your aura is going to expand. Those of us that are conduits and empaths and energy workers, this is why we have to be really upfront and start communicating with these children, because our children are so profoundly vast and really talented in their gifts, and they're not being taught how to direct their energy, how to use and work with their fields of energy, and they're really carrying on a lot of field stuff in their fields that's not theirs. that really affect them emotionally and mentally and psychologically. And they end up internalizing it as if it's their fault and their blame. So we're really waking up to how to use energy, how to take sovereign care and standing in our power with our energy, and how to really set boundaries on energies that are new, kind of new out of the egg, and not quite matured, and honoring the right use of will. Because when you're matured, you understand the laws of the universe, because you wouldn't want to keep creating that kind of karma. And so understanding the laws of the universe are important. Right use of will, allowing everyone their sovereignty, not remote viewing and doing spell work and any thwarting of anybody's path, because everyone has the absolute birthright to their highest destiny. That is God's wish and God's will, and that God's will is above all. And so know that you're equally threaded with that. My will is God's will, as thy will be done. And so just know that is what thy will be done means. God's will always be done. And you have the right to be honoring of that. We're matching that with spirit now. That's what that 5D is about. I'm matching my level of beauty with God. I'm matching my level of greatness with God. I'm matching my level of, I know who I am. I'm speaking my spiritual truth, and I'm allowing others to do theirs and honor it. And you have equal right to ask all distracting energies to leave, and then bathe yourself in the pure crystalline white light so that you're clearing and cleansing your field frequently. And when you're going around a lot of people, just put the veil of Archangel Michael around you. There's various veils that you can use depending on how you're going out into public and what you need it for. So just communicate with your teams, and then do the for those of you that are going through a lot of shadow work right now, and you're working with a lot of shadow work, which is fine and wonderful. You have to get used to being very firm and confident in your shadow work. Just call in the extra protection when you're sleeping at night, so that there's not energies that are trying to tap into you or your consciousness or your energy field at nighttime. And just ask Archangel Michael to protect you while you sleep and deliver you safely back to your body. And also working with the recalibration chambers so that you're being recalibrated to your highest light. And your light is going to be retained in its, without being encumbered by energies or entities that want to play with you and take from you. It's up to them to get it from themselves. And that's why they play those games. They don't want to do the work, and they just want to keep taking from you because it was easy. Right? It was easy to get it from you, and it was easy to have you solve their problems and to have you be a part of their destructive stories. And so now you're sending those boundaries, and you're having them learn and not enable that behavior. And learn everybody to just show everybody how to step up and level up, because you feel so good when you do, and you want others to feel good about themselves. And always do it in a loving and kind way. But just know that you have that spiritual support, and Spirit's always with you. You always have that alliance of light, and really enable the children to stand in their power, clear their fields, know that you don't have to take others' energies on. You're not there to make people happy. You're there to make yourself the highest priority of you. And so just stand in that truth. Spirit will support you, and thy will be done. We thank you so much, dear lighted ones. We're so happy to be with you. Our donation buttons are below. We have our private sessions that are coming up in our classes. We're so happy for you to join us. And so many great things that are coming in our 5D co-creation. Everything is energy, and we're aligning everything in our highest vibrational experience, vibrational archaeology, vibrational epidemiology. And I would love to be excited and really looking into all of those arenas. And so reach out to us, and we love you so much, dear lighted ones. Take care and have a beautiful, beautiful sleep. Make sure you're calling in the angels, and Spirit is everywhere. So communicate lovingly, center yourself and ground, and direct your energy in loving benevolence for you and for the greater good of all. We love you, dear lighted ones. Bye. Bye.